Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has visited Kano State to condole with the government and the family of Alhaji Aminu Dantata, who passed away in Abu Dhabi, UAE on 28 June. The renowned businessman and philanthropist died at the age of 94 and was buried beside his wife's grave at the Al-Baqi Cemetery in the holy city of Medina, Saudi Arabia on July 1. President Tinubu was out of the country at the time of Dantata's passing, but directed some of his ministers, led by Defense Minister, to attend the burial in Saudi Arabia as a mark of honor for the NIGERIan. The president has returned to Abuja. Special prayers have been offered for forgiveness and repose of the soul of late former President Muhammadu Buhari at the National Mosque in Abuja. Kabir Hassan reports that it was a solemn gathering of faithful and dignitaries who came together to honor the late former president at the National Mosque in Abuja.
The prayer session featuring prominent Islamic clerics was led by Imam Ilyas Usman and conducted in accordance with Islamic rites, asking Allah for forgiveness, mercy and eternal peace for the late Nigerian leader. Among those present were government officials, lawmakers, and religious leaders who offered word of reflection and remembered Buhari as a man committed to service, discipline, and national unity. Attendees also prayed for the country's peace and stability as the nations continue to mourn the passing of its most influential leader. As prayers rise from the national mosques, Nigeria continues to reflect and bid farewell not just to a former president, but a leader whose legacy has left an incredible mark in the sand of time. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
In another development, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Muhammad Babangida, son of former military President General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, as the new chairman of the Bank of Agriculture. The announcement was made in a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. The statement also listed 8 others who have been appointed to lead key federal government institutions. Among the new appointees are Lydia Khaled Musa, who will head the Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority, Jamilu Wada Aliyu, appointed as the head of the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, and Sanusi Garba Rikiji, named Executive Secretary, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations. The federal government has issued a public health alert warning of active outbreaks of cholera, dengue fever, yellow fever, mpox, and diphtheria across the country. According to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC), Cholera has spread to 34 states, with Zamfara alone accounting for 32% of cases, while dengue and yellow fever have been confirmed in states including Edo, Lagos, and Rivers. The NCDC warned that Nigeria risks a major health crisis unless all stakeholders intensify response efforts and citizens adopt strict prevention measures. The Labour Party has dissolved the leadership of Barrister Julius Abure in line with the April 4 Supreme Court ruling that declared the expiration of his tenure. The party says it's taking steps to restructure its leadership and prepare for upcoming elections following a critical decision by its National Executive Council. Our correspondent Anete Patrick reports.
At its National Executive Council meeting held in Abuja, the Labour Party says it has ratified the appointment of a new interim national working committee and released a fresh timetable for congresses at all levels. The council unanimously endorsed Senator Nenadi Usman as interim national chairman, with Senator Danlitin Nkwacha stepping in as interim national secretary. Together, they are to lead the interim national working committee tasked with repositioning the party and ensuring credible internal elections. The party also reaffirmed its commitment to internal democracy and called on INEC and security agencies to remain neutral.
The NEC, statutory NEC, having empowered the Interim National Working Committee, we will issue a communique and write to INEC, just like we wrote to INEC a month before today, on the 18th of July, to say this meeting was going to hold. INEC acknowledged it. So also I would appeal to distinguished Senator Darlington Wokocha to cause letters to be written to INEC about this meeting, and then about recognition of our candidates for the different runoff or by-elections that will be happening any moment from now.
The setting up of interim in all the states, local government and wards.
Yes.
Just like the governor said, and we all agree, we have one objective, are only making emphasis on the mandate of the national interim.
Status of Labour Party participation in upcoming elections. The NEC reviewed the status of the party's participation in the forthcoming Anambra gubernatorial election and various schedules by elections in senatorial districts and federal constituencies across the country.
Also speaking, the National Labour Congress President Joe Ajero called on workers, traders and artisans to take ownership of the party, emphasizing that the Labour Party remains the voice of the ordinary Nigerians.
The NLC at its last leg in Yola agreed that there is need to restructure this party. Immediate need. Restructure it, go into coalition, rebrand, whatever form. That's the mandate given to us for this party to work. Workers' party. And to that, I will urge every Nigerian to reach out to the liberal class, the working people, the farmers, traders, and all artisans to own the party that it is their party.
Key resolutions for the National Executive Council include a timeline forward to national congresses, nationwide membership revalidation and registration, and a firm stance on fielding credible candidates in all elections. Anete Patrick, Global Television News.
In politics, some members of the opposition recently joined forces to form African Democratic Congress, ADC. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, once a relatively quiet player in national politics, is now raising the stakes against the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC. Can the ADC defeat the APC in 2027? In this report, our correspondent, Ubongusoro, asked citizens of their opinion about the new party. The report.
Nigeria's political history is filled with dramatic power shifts, from the dominance of the PDP for 16 years to the emergence of the APC in 2015. Now eyes are on whether another shift is coming. In July 2025, opposition heavyweights including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's Peter Obi, former Senate President David Mark, and former governors Ralph Arabiola and Rotimi Amechi united under the ADC platform. The coalition chose ADC as its vehicle to challenge APC's grip on power in 2027, citing the need to prevent one-party dominance and to present a united front. David Mark now serves as interim national chairman, while Arabiola as interim secretary. Founded in 2005, the ADC had previously maintained a modest presence in national politics, but this recent coalition has breathed new life into the party, turning it into a centerpiece of opposition strategy ahead of the next elections.
It's not possible for them to unseat the sitting government. What are the reasons? This is a government, the candidate, which before now, he was not in the system like being in the government, but he find his way to become the sitting president. So you know, there is a way the Nigerian politics work. It is not possible you just come and unseat a sitting president.
Observers say the move mirrors the 2015 alliance that brought APC to power. The question is, can history repeat itself?
I don't think they will be able to win APC, because when a man who has not been in the seat can be able to win and come over, now that he's sitting, I don't think they will win him, because he has every power to put everything in place as soon as it concerns his growth in the office.
If they do the right thing, I believe they will collect it. What is there that they're supposed to zone it, the place supposed to be, that is south. It's turn of south. It's 8 years. So if they zone it to the south, understand, let's assume that they give it to the south, south will run for it. But if we go to north, definitely they will lose it.
As preparations for 2027 intensify, the real battle may be between the old guards and a united opposition seeking to disrupt the status quo. Ubon Usoro for Global TV.
World leaders, activists and citizens converge in Abuja to reaffirm their commitment to democratic values in Nigeria and the call for the transparency, accountability and inclusive governance on global stages. Sama Odi reports.
Ahead of International Conference on Democracy in a show of unity aimed at rising global authoritarianism, heads of state, civil society leaders, and human rights advocates called for urgent collaborative actions to defend fundamental freedom, uphold transparent governance, and restore public trust in domestic institutions worldwide.
What must African democracy look like in the age of digital disruption, youthful surges, and global uncertainty? How do we forge robust institutions, build credible elections, and entrench accountability, not rhetorically, but in deeds and not dollars? How do we ensure that our economic systems foster sovereignty, that our social contracts are vibrant, and that every African voice, women, youth, rural, urban, finds her place in our democracy?
The program director, Godson Nwankwo, said African leaders owe it to the young people who comprises of the vibrant heart of society to build institutions that are both inclusive and enduring. He further stated that African youths also owe it to the elders to honor the wisdom that has carried Africans thus far, and to our children the promise of a continent unvaccinated from dependency.
When we have this conversation, we realize that our founding fathers faced this same challenge. And the vision of the founding fathers that came together when they formed the AU was to open up Africa, to unite Africa so that we can be united among ourselves. We're a continent of 1.4 billion people with a potential market of $3 trillion. But because of these fragmented borders and closed systems, we cannot explore this potential.
With present challenges and hopeful possibilities ahead, this conference stands as both a reflection of relying points for the future of democracy. Saria Odi reporting for Global Television News.
Former Liberian President George Weah says late former President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, contributed to the success of his administration as a president. The former Liberian president stated this while signing the condolence register for the late former president of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja. Ramsey Enoch Abo reports.
The former Liberian president, while signing the condolence register for the late former president, Muhammadu Buhari, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, eulogized the former president, saying he was a big brother who helped him succeed as the president of Liberia.
On my visit, I just wanted to come and sympathize with the government of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria. He was a very good person to me, and that he was a kind man, one that helped my leadership to be successful, and I respect him a whole lot. So I thought I should come and sympathize.
President George Weah described the former president as a great leader in Africa and extended his condolence to all Nigerians.
He was a great leader, a strong leader, one that believed in Africa.
The demise of the late former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has attracted condolence messages from Nigerians and prominent individuals from around the world. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
In a bid to promote inclusive education and reduce the number of out-of-school girls, Zamfara State Government, Dauda Lawal, has flagged off the disbursement of conditional cash transfer to 8,225 adolescent girls across the state. The event, held in Gusau, the state's capital, marks a significant milestone in the implementation of the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile Agro-Climatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape. Zero Nasir has the details.
In spite of his royal background, Nelson Mandela dedicated his life to anti-apartheid causes, a journey that sent him to prison for 27 years. At the end of his incarceration on Robben Island, he became South Africa's first black elected president, settling for a single term. Chinedu Akfola, an electoral reforms advocate, says Mandela defied all odds, including death, in his determination to bring desired change to South Africa, forgiving those who...
You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Super Falcons trash Zambia 5-0 to reach WAFCON semi-finals. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now we go to the business news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of the Southeast Investment Company (SAIC) with a capital base of 150 billion naira aimed at accelerating economic transformation in Southeast. The SAIC, a subsidiary of the Southeast Development Commission, is designed to mobilize private capital and implement strategic projects in infrastructure, education, and enterprise development. It will initially be state-backed, but it is expected to evolve into a public-private partnership model by the fourth quarter of 2025, with pilot investments beginning later this year. Loan default in Nigeria worsened in the second quarter of 2025, with small and medium-sized businesses accounting for the steepest rise in non-performing loans. The Central Bank of Nigeria's latest credit conditions survey revealed a sharp drop in SME repayment performance, with the default index falling to -7.2 in the second quarter from +0.5 in the first quarter, the most severe among borrower category. Analysts say the trend reflects broader economic challenges, including liquidity constraints, weak demand, and rising operating costs across sectors. On the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump has filed a $10 billion lawsuit against Dow Jones and Company and media mogul Rupert Murdoch, accusing them of publishing a false and defamatory article alleging he sent a birthday message to Jeffrey Epstein in 2023. Trump insists the note reportedly featured a naked woman outline and a third-person exchange between himself and Epstein is fake and says the Wall Street Journal was warned against printing it. The lawsuit coincides with a separate request by a U.S. Justice Department to unseal grand jury materials in Epstein's trafficking case, amidst rising pressure on Attorney General Pam Bondi and renewed scrutiny of Trump's connections to the late financier. Still in foreign news, the United States High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, has raised alarm over 11 million displaced people globally could lose access to humanitarian support due to a major funding shortfall. As of July, the agency had received only 23% of its $10.6 billion funding target for the year, with contributions falling sharply, especially from the United States. In response to the UNHCR, he suspended or scaled back $1.4 billion worth of aid programs, including medical care, food education, and emergency shelter across countries like Sudan, Myanmar, and Afghanistan. And now we go to the sports news. The Super Falcons of Nigeria delivered a dominant performance to crush Zambia 5-0 in the Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON 2024 quarter-final in Casablanca. Goals from Ohale Okoronkwo, Ihezuo, Demeyin, and Ijamilusi helped secure Nigeria's 13th semi-final appearance, extending their clean sheet record in the tournament to 4 matches. The win marks a significant redemption for the Falcons, who lost to Zambia in their previous WAFCON encounter in 2022. Nigeria's Junior Tigers outclassed Argentina 68-58 in a classification game at the ongoing FIBA Under-19 Women's Basketball World Cup in Buenos Aires. Led by top scorers Nora Ezike and captain Wandu Hembem, the Nigerian side dominated the first 3 quarters and held firm in the fourth, bouncing back from their second round of 16 loss in Hungary. With a win, Nigeria now prepares to face Korea Republic with a top 12 finish still within reach at a global tournament. According to transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, Nigeria forward Victor Osimhen is on the verge of a €75 million transfer from Napoli to Turkish club Galatasaray. The report's deals includes €40 million payable upfront and €35 million deferred for 1 year, with both clubs agreeing to a penalty clause that prevents resale to Italian club for 2 years. The final hurdle is the sale-on clause, which is still under negotiation, making Osimhen's move one of the summer's biggest African deals. And that is it on Global Television Midday News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using the handle @GlobalTVNG. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you very much for watching. Good afternoon.